Let's begin with the foundations. Welcome to another lecture. Today's subject is Giannis Antetokounmpo, a case study in modern basketball excellence, migration, and identity. And if I may, a reminder that transliteration can change lives almost as much as transition offense. I am Alexei.
Hi, I'm Priyanka. I'm excited and also slightly intimidated. Giannis makes numbers look like poetry, which is unfair to both statisticians and poets.
To frame our discussion, Giannis Antetokounmpo, known globally as Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. He holds Greek and Nigerian citizenships and plays for the Milwaukee Bucks, drafted 15th overall in 2013. It's important to understand a few terms. NBA is the National Basketball Association. MVP is Most Valuable Player. Giannis won it in 2019 and 2020. DPOY is Defensive Player of the Year. He won it in 2020, thus joining a very short list of players who captured MVP and DPOY in the same season. A triple-double is at least 10 in 3 categories: points, rebounds, assists in the common case. And he has dozens of those, including in the playoffs.
So, I guess we can start by thinking about why his story matters beyond the box score. There's the dual nationality piece, Greek and Nigerian, and the way fans across continents see themselves in him. Also the stakes of law and paperwork. He was born in Athens in 1994, but stateless until 2013 because of jus sanguinis. That's not just a detail. It shaped his travel and opportunities.
Indeed, Greek nationality law, based on descent, meant that despite birth in Athens, he lacked automatic citizenship. Until May 2013, he could not leave Greece freely. This is a crucial piece of context when we evaluate early development and delayed exposure to international circuits. We observe that administrative status can constrain athletic labor markets as much as any scouting report. Now for the essential chronology. Giannis grew up in Sepolia, Athens, helping his family by selling items on the street. A surprisingly rigorous training program in resilience and footwork, if you will. He joined Philatletikos in 2007 and played senior minutes in the Greek B Basket League in 2011-2012, then in the A2 League in 2012-2013. He briefly signed a deal with CAI Zaragoza with NBA buyouts, which reflected his rising European profile. In May 2013, he obtained Greek citizenship, with the surname transliterated to Antetokounmpo from Adetokounmpo. Shortly after, Milwaukee drafted him 15th overall. He chose jersey 34 to honor the last digits of his parents' birth years, 1963 and 1964. By 2016-2017, he led the Bucks in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, and finished top 20 league-wide in all 5 categories. The Most Improved Player award forward.
And then the hardware accelerated. Back-to-back MVPs in 2019 and 2020. And in 2020, he also won DPOY. In 2021, he led Milwaukee to their first title since 1971. 50 points in Game 6 of the Finals and Finals MVP by unanimous vote. After that, he kept layering records, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for franchise scoring in 2022, and later taking the rebounds and assists records in 2023, which is kind of wild for a non-guard.
In this context, we note additional milestones. A franchise record 64 points in December 2023, a calf injury in April 2024 that ended his season, and in 2025, continued accumulation. 20,000 career points in March 2025, and a 35-point, 17 rebound, 20 assist game in April 2025. the first such 35-15-20 line in league history. By the end of the 2024-2025 regular season, he had averaged at least 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in 3 separate seasons. A rare statistical club he effectively leads. A brief personal observation. I watched his 2021 finals closeout at an indecently late hour. Kettle on, chessboard abandoned. The 50 points were impressive. The 5 blocks felt, mathematically, like a proof by contradiction of Phoenix's interior ambitions. Sometimes dominance is not elegant. In this case, it was both.
So yeah, moving on. I think the next thing we should talk about is 3 questions that keep coming up. First, what if he hadn't secured Greek citizenship before the 2013 draft? Second, what if his 2021 knee hyperextension had been a ligament tear? And third, how will his legacy evolve from here?
Let's proceed to the first question. Had Greek citizenship not been granted in May 2013, he would have lacked the travel freedom and documentation needed to enter the NBA draft weeks later. We can infer he would likely have remained under his Zaragoza contract, continued in European competition, and postponed any NBA entry. Milwaukee's mid-first round selection at 15th thus becomes contingent on a bureaucratic event. Without it, the franchise's arc, culminating in the 2021 title, would plausibly diverge significantly.
If I may suggest a simple clarification. What exactly about Greek law made the delay so long? And how did that change in 2013? Also, he later added a Nigerian passport, right?
It is worth noting that Greece primarily follows jus sanguinis, citizenship by descent rather than by birthplace. Children of non-citizens born in Greece have historically faced a high administrative bar for naturalization. Giannis, born in Athens in 1994, thus remained effectively stateless until May 2013, when Greek authorities granted citizenship, enabling international travel, national team eligibility, and draft participation. The Greek spelling Giannis Antetokounmpo produced the now familiar Latin rendering. He then obtained a Nigerian passport in 2015, formalizing his dual identity and facilitating mobility and representation choices. For athletes, this regime can compress or delay career timelines. In his case, the administrative switch flipped the market from local to global in one stroke. On to our second question. The counterfactual in 2021. He suffered a left knee hyperextension in the Eastern Conference Finals. MRI revealed no ligament damage. He missed games 5 and 6 of that series, then returned for the finals and authored a historic run. Had there been a tear, the Bucks almost certainly lose access to his rim pressure, transition finishing, and backline defense. Analysts at the time noted that Milwaukee's spacing and half-court creation, already delicate, would have tilted heavily onto Chris Middleton's shot-making and Drew Holiday's two-way load, with a likely deficit against Phoenix's pick-and-roll with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. The power dynamics of that postseason and subsequent reputations might have realigned substantially.
Can we now look at the broader impact on the team? Would the Bucks' defensive identity and coaching trajectory have shifted without the title? And what about signature plays, like the Ayton block and the Game 5 alley-oop? Those moments kind of defined them.
Clearly, Milwaukee's scheme in that era depended on Giannis's ability to close space and erase mistakes. The Ayton block was archetypal, drop coverage complemented by an elastic recovery. Absent him, the Bucks likely rely on more conservative coverages with less recovery margin, reducing turnover creation and transition opportunities. Offensively, Middleton's high-difficulty mid-range would face denser help and Holiday's finishing would be more contested without Giannis's gravitational pull. Titles stabilize coaching tenures. Without the 2021 championship, the organizational calculus on roster and strategy could have been far less patient. Conversely, Phoenix may have secured a championship, altering reputational arcs for Paul, Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. In simpler terms, one knee ligament could have bent several storylines. This logically leads us to legacy. Giannis is already on the NBA's 75th anniversary team. He owns a 2021 Finals MVP, 2 regular season MVPs, 1 DPOY, and by 2025, he is the Bucks' all-time leader in points, rebounds, assists, free throws, and double-doubles. He has captained multiple All-Star teams and accumulated historic efficiency streaks, including a remarkable 2025 run of consecutive 20-point games over 50% shooting. Further, he reached 20,000 points at an age that positions him for elite career totals. The open question is the blend of future championships, additional MVP-level seasons, and longevity metrics which together will situate him among the all-time greats at his position.
I'm curious about the global dimension. How does his Greek and Nigerian identity shape his cultural impact, and his responsibilities maybe? I noticed he was named a Greek flag bearer for the Paris 2024 Olympics, and that feels symbolic.
It's crucial to understand that dual nationality here is not a hyphen so much as a bridge. He speaks often of being both Greek and Nigerian. His passports codify that which his life already expressed. Selection as a Greek flag bearer in 2024 externalizes that role. Visibility for Greece, resonance across the Nigerian diaspora, and a template for how athletes navigate multiplicity. Popular culture reinforces the narrative. The 2022 biographical film Rise dramatizes the family's journey, though as with all biopics, chronology compresses and composites may occur. Academically, we might study how his presence shifts youth participation, sponsorship geographies, and debates over nationality law reform. Practically, he has become a point of identification for communities that rarely saw themselves at the NBA apex.
Building on that, isn't it interesting how even small archival gaps can confuse the story? I've seen box scores or records without years. They travel online as fact, but they're hard to place. So verification becomes part of legacy too.
Fundamentally, yes. Some entries in public summaries lack precise year stamps, a salutary reminder to cross-reference official logs. In research, as on defense, one must not bite on the first fake. To summarize, Giannis Antetokounmpo is an influential NBA player whose on-court profile, two-way dominance, versatility, and accolades is matched by a singular off-court narrative of dual nationality and late-arriving citizenship. We asked 3 questions. First, without Greek citizenship in 2013, his NBA path likely delays, and Milwaukee's modern history changes. Second, with a severe knee injury in 2021, the Bucks' title run probably collapses, altering league narratives. Third, his legacy remains in motion, already historic and poised to grow via additional peaks, longevity, and global representation. Further study could include comparative analyses of nationality law in athlete mobility and the cultural economics of diaspora representation in sport.
That was helpful to think through, actually. Thank you, Professor.